sa India ang nabagsakan ng water tank.
Alamin natin kung nakaligtas ba ang biktima. Mula sa mga detalye ng balitang ibabahagi maya-maya. Magandang gabi, ako po si Ricky Mathay.
Ako si Nina Richie Alago Flores. Ito ang mata ng Agila International. Para naman sa mga headlines ngayong Huwebes ng gabi.
PNP-CIDG naghain ng kaso sa DOJ laban sa abogado ni Apollo Kibuloy at 12 iba pa.
Public Utility Vehicle Consolidation muling binuksan ng Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky inihain ng victory plan laban sa Russia.
Magnitude 6 na lindol niyanig ang Turkiye.
At Apple support nakaranas ng outage. Naghain ng PNP-CIDG sa Department of Justice o DOJ laban sa abogado ni Apollo Kibuloy at 12 iba pa.
Kaugnay pa rin ito sa pagharang nila na maisilbi ang arrest warrant kay Kibuloy at kanyang mga kasamahan sa Davao City. Pinangunahan ni PNP-CIDG Chief Brigadier General Nicolas Torre ang paghahain ng reklamo sa DOJ. Ilan pa sa pinagbatayan ng mga reklamo ay ang pagsasagawa ng kilos protesta sa daan kahit na ang permiso ay prayer rally lamang sa loob ng KOJC compound. Sinabi ni Torre na hiwalay pa ang mga reklamong sedition at incitement to sedition sa mga naunang reklamo na inihain nila sa ibang mga piskalya tulad ng direct assault, physical injuries at disobedience sa pulisya. Samantala, inihayag naman ng PNP o ni PNP Public Information Office Chief Brigadier General Jean Fajardo na may iba pang kaso silang inihahanda laban sa mga humarang sa pagdakip kay Kibuloy.
Meron pa po tayong ikinakasapo na kaso, particularly yung obstruction of justice.
Muling binuksan ng Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board o LTFRB ang aplikasyon para sa consolidation sa ilalim ng Public Transport Modernization Program o PTMP ng pamahalaan hanggang November 28. Ayon kay LTFRB Chairperson Chofilo Guaris III, maaari na muli maghain ng aplikasyon ang mga unconsolidated public utility vehicles and operators. Sinabi ni Guaris na bibigyan lamang ng 45 araw ang mga aplikante bilang tugon sa kahilingan ng Senado. Sa kabila nito ay hindi na pinapayagan ng LTFRB na bumuo ng sariling kooperatiba ang mga unconsolidated na PUV drivers and operators. Pinapayagan lamang ang mga ito na sumali sa mga umiiral ng kooperatiba. Makatatanggap din ng mga benepisyo ang mga sumali sa programa katulad ng 10,000 pisong fuel subsidy at 15,000 hanggang 20,000 piso para sa service contracting sa libreng sakay program. Maguguritang noong April 30 nang natapos ang deadline para sa consolidation kung saan ay itinuring ng LTFRB na kolorum na ang mga hindi kasali sa consolidation phase ng programa.
Pinasalamatan ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. si Israeli President Isaac Herzog dahil sa pangangalaga ng gobyerno nito sa mga Filipino sa Israel. Ipinaabot ng Pangulo ang kanyang pagpapasalamat habang nag-usap ang dalawa sa telepono sa Malacanang. Ayon kay PBBM, nananatiling isang pinagkakatiwalaang bilateral partner ng Middle East ng Pilipinas ang Israel. Tinukoy din ng Pangulo na kahit mataas ang tensyon sa Middle East dahil sa pakikipaglaban ng Israel sa Hezbollah at Hamas ay tiniyak nilang ligtas ang mga Pilipino roon. Matatanda ang kasama ang Pilipinas sa bumoto sa United Nations General Assembly resolution na nagsusulong ng tigil putukan sa Gaza para makapasok ang humanitarian aid at tulungan ang mga na-stranded sa lugar. May alok ang bansang Croatia para sa mga Filipino caregivers.
Ayon sa Department of Migrant Workers o DMW, may special hiring ang Croatia sa ilalim ng Memorandum of Cooperation ng Pilipinas at ng nasabing bansa. Tinukoy ng DMW ang minimum salary na maaaring matanggap ng mga nagtatrabaho sa offer ay katumbas ng 62,000 pesos. Bukod pa rito ang overtime pay at ilang benefits na ipagkakaloob sa kanila. Tiniyak naman ng gobyerno ng Croatia na bibigyan proteksyon nito ang mga manggagawang Pinoy na magtatrabaho sa kanilang bansa.
Nilagdaanan ng Pilipinas, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand ang isang data sharing agreement para mapahusay ang aviation safety sa Asia-Pacific. Layo ng data sharing agreement na tutukan ng ilang safety categories gaya ng severe turbulence at dangerous goods incidents. Ayon sa Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, dapat magtulungan ang mga bansa upang matukoy ang mga kalakaran at panganib sa aviation sa pamamagitan ng pagdevelop ng mga proactive measures na nagsusulong ng isang ligtas na paglalakbay sa Asia-Pacific.
Nakalapag na sa NAIA Terminal 1 ang eroplanong sinakyan ng 48 overseas Filipino workers or OFWs na repatriated mula sa Lebanon. Ayon sa Department of Social Welfare and Development o DSWD, bukod sa pinansyal na tulong na nanggagaling at manggagaling sa Department of Migrant Workers, ay handa rin itong tulungan ang mga OFWs. Anila, sasalubungin ng mga kinatawan ng DSWD ang mga umuwing OFW sa Terminal 1 at bilang paunang tugon, magsasagawa ang mga social workers ng assessment at interview upang malaman ang nararapat na tulong para sa mga repatriates. Batay sa resulta ng assessment ng mga social workers, ang cash aid na ibibigay ng DSWD sa mga repatriated OFWs ay hindi lamang limitado sa assistance to individuals in crisis situation o sa ayuda para sa kapos ang kita. Nilinaw ni Dumlao na maaaring mag-iba-iba ang uri ng tulong na kanilang ibibigay sa mga OFWs dahil nakabatay ito sa kanilang mga case situations. Sinabi rin ng opisyal na maaari ring magbigay ng livelihood assistance ang DSWD dahil matagal na mawawala ng trabaho ang mga umuwing OFWs. Nauna na pong ibinalita na umuwi ng Pilipinas ang mga repatriates mula sa Lebanon dahil sa tumitinding gyera sa Middle East. Susunod, China ay nakusahan ang Japan ng iligal na pagpasok sa disputed waters ng Senkaku Islands.
Estados Unidos binomba ang mga lugar na nasa kontrol ng mga militanteng Houthi.
At pagkabahala ng US sa paggamit umano ng Israel sa mga Palestinian bilang human shields, alamin. Mga detalye ng mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
This portion is brought to you by 318 Automart.
Why choose Supreme Pure Organic Barley? It is 100% pure organic barley straight from Australia. Certified super brands. The first alkaline-based barley in the Philippines. High pH level, 7.9 alkaline level, 68 micronutrients, non-acidic. It helps boost immune system, improves digestion, high in antioxidants, regulates blood sugar level and cholesterol. Waglan Basta Barley. Dapat alkaline-based Supreme Pure Organic Barley.
ASPN, Year 4 na! Patuloy nating samahan sina Ali Soto at Pat P. Daza sa paghahatid ng mga balitang puno ng impormasyon.
Ito daw si Alice Go ay talagang tanim ng China. Malaki na po ang ibinaba ng national rating ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Muli na namang gumamit ang China ng high-intensity laser laban po sa mga sasakyan ng Pilipinas.
Lunes hanggang Biyernes, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Dito lang sa NET25.
Let's get together. Sa NET25. Sa NET25.
This Sunday on CNET Throwback.
You wanted to be special forces?
Yes, sir.
Why do you want to join the CIA?
I'd like to help my country make a difference in the world.
The average test time is 5 hours.
I'm done, sir.
It's been 40 minutes.
38 minutes. What should I do now?
Whatever you want. Find the terrorist in the internet.
The NSA is really tracking every cell phone in the world. I just want to get this data to the world.
Did you access an unauthorized program?
The government knows that we have these documents now.
Watch yourself.
We are running out of time.
They're going to come for me.
This Sunday, 12 noon, here on NET25.
Let's get together. Sa NET25.
Mainit na usapin pa rin sa mga bansa sa Southeast Asia ang pinagtatalunan at pinag-aagawang teritoryo sa West Philippine Sea. Agaw pansin naman ang kaliwat-kanang reclamation activity ng Vietnam sa bahagi ng Spratly Islands sa nakalipas na taon. Sa gitna po ng matinding panghaharas at pambobomba ng China Coast Guard sa mga Pilipino ay tila tahimik lamang ang China sa ginagawang aktibidad ng Vietnam. Kaya't marapat lamang na talakayin at pag-usapan natin ang tinatawag na bamboo diplomacy ng Vietnam na siyang iniuugnay sa matibay na ugnayan nito sa iba't ibang mga bansa. Matagal na ang pagtatalo ng China laban sa Pilipinas, Brunei, Malaysia, Taiwan at Vietnam hinggil sa hangganan at sakop ng teritoryo sa Spratly Islands. Iginiit ng China na ang pag-angkin nila sa teritoryo ay bahagi ng 9-dash line na inalmahan naman ng mga bansang nasa paligid nito. Ayon po sa datos ng Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative, ang Vietnam ay nakapagpatayo ng nasa 280 bagong ektarya noong 2023, mas mataas kumpara sa 140 noong taong 2022. Dagdag pa rito ay umabot na ang reclamation ng Vietnam sa kabuuang bilang na 955 na halos kalahati sa 1,882 ng China. Sa kabilang banda, lumalabas na sa pamamagitan ng bamboo diplomacy ay mas tumibay pa ang ugnayan ng Vietnam at China. Sinabi naman ng Pangulo ng Vietnam na si To Lam na top priority niya ang maayos at matibay na relasyon sa China. Kaugnay po nito ay pumirma ang 2 ng 14 na deals para sa cross-border railways at crocodile exports. At bukod pa rito, ay nagkasundo rin sila noong Disyembre para sa shared future kung saan 36 na cooperation documents ang kanilang nilagdaan. Nakapaloob sa nasabing kasunduan ang transport infrastructure, trade, security, digital economy at joint declaration na may mas malawak na ugnayan ng dalawang bansa. Matatandaang noong taong 2016 ay nilatag ni dating General Secretary of Communist Party ng Vietnam na si Nguyen Phu Trong ang bamboo diplomacy. Layunin nitong isulong ang prinsipyo ng self-reliance at adaptability sa mga issue at interes na may kinalaman sa bansa. Kasama rito ang pagpapatibay sa koneksyon sa international community kung saan kabilang ang nasa 170 UN member states. Dagdag din dito ang aktibong partisipasyon ng bansa sa higit sa 70 international organizations at forums. Kapansin-pansin na naging matagumpay ang bamboo diplomacy dahil sa maayos itong ugnayan sa mga bansa kagaya na rin ng China, US at maging Russia. Naitala rin dito ang maayos at aktibong diplomatic engagement nito sa mga issue ng iba't ibang mga bansa. Kasama rin sa samahan na kinabibilangan ng Vietnam ay ang Association of Southeast Asian Nations o ASEAN Economic Union. Dagdag pa rito ang free trade deals partnership nito sa European Union, Britain, Chile, South Korea at maging sa Israel. Sa kasalukuyan ay isa ang Vietnam sa may pinakamataas na economic growth rate sa buong mundo. Patuloy rin ang pagtaas ng kanilang foreign investment sa kabila ng pandaigdigang issue at kompetisyon sa ekonomiya. Miyembro rin po ang Vietnam ng Trade Pact sa Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership at Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Bahagi ng organisasyong Comprehensive and Progressive ay ang Canada, Australia at Mexico, habang ang Regional Comprehensive naman ay bahagi din dyan ang China at Japan. Kaugnay sa maayos itong alyansa sa mga bansa ay isinusulong nito ang mas marami pang sectoral partnerships. Pasok dito ang mga plano sa usapin ng energy transition at semiconductors bilang hakbang na maging high-income country sa taong 2045. Ayon po sa The Observatory of Economic Complexity ay nakapagtala ang Vietnam noong 2022 sa exports ng 117 sa US, 58.7 sa China, 25.2 sa South Korea at 25 naman po sa Japan. Sa usapin naman po ng import ay nanguna ang China na may 138, South Korea na may 60.7, Japan na may 17.9 at Taiwan na may 15.7. Napagkasunduan naman ng Vietnam at Japan na pagtibayin din ang kanilang relasyon sa bahagi naman ng security at economic cooperation. Patunay po rito, ay Japan ang isa sa pinakamalaking foreign investors ng Vietnam kung saan kasama rin ang Canon, Honda Pacific or Honda, Panasonic at Bridgestone. Pinagtibay din ng Vietnam ang ugnayan nito sa South Korea matapos ang Comprehensive Strategic Partnership noong taong 2022 para sa trade, investment, defense at maging security. Matibay na ugnayan sa iba't ibang mga bansa. Yan ang pinapakita ng Vietnam sa kanilang bamboo diplomacy. Bagamat mas lumalala ang tensyon sa magkakaibang issue ng mga bansa, ay napapanatili pa rin ng Vietnam ang balanse nitong ugnayan sa China, US at Russia. Matapos bumisita ang Pangulo ng US na si Joe Biden sa Hanoi, ay nagkasundo ang dalawa na magtulungan sa usapin ng semiconductors at critical minerals. Ito ay bilang bahagi ng pagpapatibay sa supply chains dahil US po ang pangunahing importer ng Vietnam.
1 year ago in Hanoi, we began a new era of relations with Vietnam and the United States, and we elevated our partnership to the highest level as possible. Since then, I've been very proud of the progress we've made. First of all, we made historic investments in semiconductors and supply chains. And I want to note this was made possible through our Chips and Science Act here at home.
Matatandaan naman na noong buwan ng Hunyo na bumisita ang Pangulo ng Russia na si Vladimir Putin sa Vietnam kung saan pinag-usapan nila ang trade, economic, technological at humanitarian plans. Ipinagpasalamat din ni Putin ang balanseng pagtingin at opinyon ng Vietnam sa digmaan sa pagitan naman ng Russia at Ukraine. Kasunod nito ay sinabi ng US na wala dapat makinig na bansa sa mga pag-atake at pagpatay na nagaganap sa pagitan ng Russia at Ukraine. Giit nito ay hindi dapat suportahan ang paglabag sa international law dahil sa walang tigil na pagpatay sa mga inosenteng sibilyan sa nasabing labanan. Malaking katanungan ngayon ang hangganan sa pagiging balanse ng Vietnam sa mga pinuno ng iba't ibang bansa. Patuloy pa nga bang makakapagtayo ng mga infrastruktura sa pinag-aagawang teritoryo ang Vietnam gayong mas tumitindi ang tensyon at aksyon ng China? Kung ang bamboo diplomacy ay tila epektibo para sa iba katulad ng Vietnam, ano kaya ang mga mapupulot naman nating aral at mga puntos mula rito na baka naman maaaring maging gabay ng Pilipinas tungo sa isa ring progresibong landas habang patuloy nating pinangangalagahan ang soberenya at interes ng sarili nating bansa.
Iniulat ng China na pinaalis nito ang isang Japanese fishing vessel mula sa lugar ng isang pinag-aagawang grupo ng mga isla sa East China Sea. Pinaliwanag ng China Coast Guard na kinailangan at naaayon sa batas ang hakbang na ito upang paalisin ang barko na iligal na pumasok sa kanilang katubigan. Hinimok pa nila ang Japan na agad itigil ang lahat ng iligal na aktibidad sa Diaoyu Islands na tinatawag namang Senkaku Islands ng Tokyo. Wala pang komento ang Japan hinggil sa insidente at pahayag ng China, ngunit patuloy na tinatanggihan ng Tokyo ang pang-aangkin ng Beijing sa mga isla nitong mga nakaraang buwan. Ang Senkaku Islands ay maliliit at uninhabited na mga isla na pinaniniwala ang may tagong reserba ng langis at gas sa ilalim ng karagatan nito.
Itinalaga na ng konstitusyon ng North Korea ang South Korea bilang isang hostile state matapos ang mga kamakailang revisions. Iniulat ng lokal na media na ang pagbabago ito ay isang hindi maiiwasan at lehitimong hakbang sa panahon na ang tensyon sa pagitan ng dalawang Korea ay nasa pinakamataas na antas sa mga nakalipas na taon. Itinuturing ng ilang bansa na simboliko lamang ang pagbabagong ito, lalo na at pinagtibay na ni North Korean leader Kim Jong-un ang kawalan ng pagkakataon ma-unify ang dalawang bansa noong 2023 pa. Sa panahong iyon, sinabi ni Kim na ang relasyon ng North Korea at South Korea ay dalawang magkaaway na bansa at imposible na ang kahit ano pang pag-uusap ukol sa unifikasyon.
Ibinahagi ni Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sa kanyang members of parliamentary ang kanyang tinatawag na victory plan.
І самим обирати для себе майбутнє. Майбутнє для України – це, безперечно, бути сильною частиною глобального світу, бути на рівних з усіма країнами-лідерами, бути в Євросоюзі та в НАТО, бути там повноправно, бути там – це справедливо для нас. Слава Україні!
Layo nitong mapalakas ang posisyon ng kanyang bansa at tuluyang matapos ang digmaan nila sa Russia na nagsimula noon pang Pebrero 2022. Ilan sa mga target nito ay ang tuluyang pagsali ng Ukraine sa North Atlantic Treaty Organization o NATO at pagtanggal ng ban sa long-range strikes para sa armas na galing sa Western Allies na gagamitin laban sa Russia.
Ідеєю з цим конкретним планом перемоги саме зараз, то може вдатися завершити війну не пізніше, ніж наступного року. Перший пункт – це запрошення в НАТО зараз. Другий пункт – оборона. Це незворотнє зміцнення української оборони проти агресора. Це реалістично захищати наші позиції на полі бою в Україні і водночас обов'язково повертати війну на територію Росії.
Kasama rin dito ang pagpapaigting ng depensa ng Ukraine mula sa pagsakop sa mga teritoryo nila. Hindi rin maiwasan ng Ukrainian President na batikusin ng China, Iran at North Korea dahil umano sa pagtulong nila sa Russia na tinawag niyang coalition of criminals. Ang nasabing plano ay nakatakdang ilatag niya rin sa European Union Summit sa araw ng Biyernes.
Але на цьому шляху Україна має бути сильною, об'єднаною та свідомою того, що Росія не може відпустити нас. Не може відпустити, але Росія може та повинна Україну втратити. Росія повинна назавжди втратити контроль над Україною і втратити навіть бажання такого контролю.
Patay ang 16 na katao kabilang ang alkalde matapos tamaan ng isang airstrike ang gusali na munisipyo ng isang malaking bayan sa Timog Lebanon. Mahigit 50 pa ang sugatan sa Nabatie matapos ang nasabing pag-atake ng Israel. Kinundina ng mga lokal na opisyal ang aksyong ito at sinabing ito ay patunay na nililipat na ng Israel ang target mula sa Hezbollah patungo sa estado ng Lebanon mismo. Binigyan din pa ni Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati na sadyang tinarget ng Israeli military ang pulong ng konseho ng munisipyo na tumatalakay sa tulong para sa mga nawalan ng tahanan. Gayunpaman, naunang nagbigay ng evacuation notice ang Israel para sa Nabatie noong Oktubre 3 pa upang maiwasan umano ng naturang bayan ang mga pag-atake. Kinumpirma rin ng Estados Unidos na ginagamit ng Hezbollah ang mga lugar katulad ng mga bahay at pampublikong pasilidad bilang mga taguan.
I cannot speak to what their intent was or what they were trying to accomplish, what their targets were. I don't know what they were. Obviously, we do not want to see entire villages destroyed. We don't want to see civilian homes destroyed. We don't want to see civilian buildings destroyed. We understand that Hezbollah does operate at times from underneath civilian homes, inside civilian homes. We've seen footage that has emerged over the course of the past 2 weeks of rockets and other military weapons held in civilian homes. So Israel does have a right to go after those legitimate targets, but they need to do so in a way that protects civilian infrastructure, protects civilians.
Binomba ng militar ng Estados Unidos ang isang serye ng mga target na nakatuon sa mga posisyon ng militanteng grupo ng Houthi sa Yemen. Nilinaw ni U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin na isinagawa ng B-2 bombers ang precision strikes laban sa 5 underground weapon storage locations. Ipinaliwanag niya na layunin ng pag-ataking ito na lumpuhin ang kakayahan ng Houthi na atakihin ang mga sibilyan at mga barkong militar sa rehiyon. Sa mga nagdaang buwan, patuloy na ginugulo ng militanteng grupo ang international na kalakalan at sinasakop ang mga barko na dumaraan sa Red Sea.
Noong Miyerkules, sinabi ng Estados Unidos na nais itong umaksyon pa ang Israel ukol sa ikabubuti ng humanitarian crisis sa Gaza. Arnie Aquino po para sa balita.
Sa kabila ng pagkilala ni U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller sa paunang mga hakbang ng Israel tulad ng pag-aaproba ng bagong warehouses at paglulunsad ng mga pasilidad para sa UN at iba pang aid groups, pinigyang diin nito na nakaabang pa rin ang US sa konkretong mga resulta tulad ng karagdagang truck na magde-deliver ng aid.
So we have seen them taking initial steps over the past several days, but of course the proof will be in the pudding ultimately, and we want to see them take additional steps, and we want to see ultimately the results change, and the results will be more trucks coming in, more food getting in, more water getting in, and civilians having the basic needs that they require to go about their daily lives.
Sinagot din ni Miller ang ukol sa report na ginagamit ng Israel ang Palestinians bilang buhay na pananggalang. Anya, ito ay nakababahala at iniimbestigahan na ito ng Israeli Defense Forces.
Yeah, I also saw that report, and I can tell you we found it incredibly disturbing. If the facts as presented in that report are true, they're completely unacceptable. There is no reason, there can be no justification ever for the use of civilians as human shields. It would be a violation not just of international humanitarian law, but of the IDF's own code of conduct. I know that the IDF has announced that they are investigating the claims in that report. That is entirely appropriate for them to do. But even more than investigate, if they do find violations, people need to be held accountable, and they need to take steps to ensure that these practices are not repeated.
Arnie Aquino para sa Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Nababahala ang Estados Unidos sa ulat na ginagamit umano ng Israel bilang human shields ang mga Palestinians.
Do you have any comments?
Yeah, I also saw that report, and I can tell you we found it incredibly disturbing. If the facts as presented in that report are true, they're completely unacceptable. There is no reason, there can be no justification ever for the use of civilians as human shields. It would be a violation not just of international humanitarian law, but of the IDF's own code of conduct. I know that the IDF has announced that they are investigating the claims in that report. That is entirely appropriate for them to do. But even more than investigate, if they do find violations, people need to be held accountable, and they need to take steps to ensure that these practices are not repeated.
Sinabi ni U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller na lubhang nakababahala at dapat nang itigil ng Israel ang nasabing gawain. Hindi umano katanggap-tanggap ang nasabing ginagawa na ito ng Israel. Tiniyak din umano sa kanila ng Israel officials na kanilang inimbestigahan ang naturang pangyayari.
We have seen them take steps to approve new warehouses and other staging facilities for the United Nations and other humanitarian organizations to ease some of the logistical burdens that they have faced in storing and then delivering assistance inside Gaza. And it's our understanding that they informed the United Nations and other humanitarian organizations in the past 24 hours or so that they are going to waive the customs declarations that they were requiring individuals to sign to bring goods in. They're going to waive them for 12 months, which is an important step that the humanitarian organizations have called on to be taken and something that was included in the Secretary's letter. So we have seen them taking initial steps over the past several days, but of course the proof will be in the pudding ultimately, and we want to see them take additional steps, and we want to see ultimately the results change, and the results will be more trucks coming in, more food getting in, more water getting in, and civilians having the basic needs that they require to go about their daily lives.
Iginiit din ni Miller ang importansya ng pagtaas ng bilang ng mga truck na may kargang mga pagkain at gamot ang nakapasok sa naturang teritoryo. Ang nasabing hakbang ay kasunod ng pagbabanta ng US na kanilang puputulin ng mga military support kapag hindi paigtingin ng Israel ang tulong sa mga naapektuhan ng digmaan sa Gaza. Pinulong na rin ni Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ang kanyang gabinete para sa pagpapalakas ng tulong sa mga nasa Gaza. Tiniyak naman ng Israel na hindi na nila gagambalain pa ang anumang tulong na papasok sa Gaza.
So our commitment to Israel's security and to the defense of Israel is ironclad. That will not change. As the letter makes clear, there are implications under U.S. law to the delivery of humanitarian assistance, and Israel doing everything that it can to ensure that the delivery of humanitarian assistance is not impeded. And I'm not going to get into hypotheticals, but it does make clear that there are implications under U.S. law. But our hope is that Israel will take the steps that we outlined.
Sinabi naman ni Israeli United Nations Ambassador Danny Danon na ang nakikipagtulungan ng mga bansa sa mga partners nito upang matiyak na makaabot ng tulong sa mga nangangailangan sa Gaza.
We are working with our partners to improve the situation, but you have objective obstacles on the ground. And the example I gave you right now, that as we speak, you have 500 trucks that pass these very checkpoints, but the aid is not being delivered. It's being wasted, it's being waiting there because you have problems of truck drivers, of people who don't want to drive. So the blame is not on Israel, the blame is on Hamas, and we have to acknowledge that. You know, there is no shortage of aid. When you look at the amount of aid that is being delivered into Gaza, the problem is with the logistics to make sure it goes to the people who need it and not to the hands of the Hamas.
Dagdag pa ni Danon na ang pangmatagalang layunin ng Israel ay hindi mananatili sa Gaza. Samantala, sinabi naman ni British Foreign Secretary David Lammy na ang kanyang bansa kasama na po ang France at Algeria ay humihiling ng agarang pagpupulong sa UN Security Council. Ito ay upang talakayin ang humanitarian situation sa Gaza. Sinabi ng kalihim sa isang pahayag na dapat tiyakin ng Israel na ang mga sibilyan ay protektado at ang mga ruta ay bukas upang payagan ang mga life-saving aid.
Aabot na sa 150,000 mga bata sa Gaza ang nabigyan ng ikalawang dose ng oral polio vaccine.
Now to Gaza, where WHO and our partners began the second round of our polio vaccination campaign on Monday, targeting more than 500,000 children. A minimum of 2 doses of vaccine are needed to interrupt polio virus transmission. This will only be achieved if at least 90% of all eligible children are vaccinated in all communities and neighborhoods. In this round, children will also receive vitamin A to help boost their immunity.
Ayon kay World Health Organization Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus na sa loob ng 2 araw na pagpapabakuna ay mayroon ng 156,943 mga bata ang kanilang naturukan ng bakuna sa Central Gaza. Nagpapatuloy pa rin ang kanilang bakunahan kung saan mayroong mahigit 120,121 na mga bata na rin ang nakatanggap ng vitamin A supplements. Nagsimula ang bakunahan noong nakaraang buwan kung saan ang pangalawa ay hahatiin sa 3 yugto. Magugunitang nagkaroon ng kumpirmadong kaso ng polio sa Gaza Strip matapos ang 25 taon. Susunod, 147 katao patay matapos sumabog ang isang gas tanker sa Nigeria.
Football superstar Kylian Mbappe tinanggi ang pagkakasangkot niya sa isang rape case.
At buong mundo nakikiramay sa pagpanaw ni One Direction star Liam Payne. Ang iba pang detalye ng mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
This portion is brought to you by Robic Builders.
Alam namin ang iyong pagsisikap. Dama namin ang iyong mga sakripisyo. Kita namin ang pagharap mo sa bawat pagsubok. Kaya sa kabila ng mga hamon ng buhay, nandito kami para umalalay. Kasi katulad mo, gusto rin namin ang magandang bukas para sa kanya. Hatid namin ang dekalidad na edukasyon at makabagong pasilidad sa abot kayang halaga. Kaya huwag ka nang mangamba, sasamahan ka namin tuparin ang mga pangarap niya. Maaasahan mong sulit dito ang mga pinagsikapan mo. Sa aming mga makabagong pasilidad at sistema ng edukasyon. Ilalabas natin ang aking talino at mga kakayahan niya. Kahit sa munting halaga, makakasiguro ka na makakasabay siya sa mabilis na pag-ikot ng mundo. Sa new era, karamay mo kami sa bawat hamon. Kaagapay mo kami sa bawat hakbang. Kasama mo kami sa bawat ngiti at tagumpay.
This portion is brought to you by North Luzon Express Terminal.
Nagbabalik ang Mata ng Agila International sa pagpapatuloy ng ating mga balita ngayong gabi. Niyanig ng magnitude 6 na lindol ang Turkey. Ayon po yan sa ulat ng European Mediterranean Seismological Center o EMSC. Ayon sa ulat ng EMSC, natagpuan ang epicenter ng lindol malapit sa syudad ng Malatya na dati nang tinamaan ng malakas na magnitude 7.8 na lindol noong February 6, 2023, kung saan naman pumatay ito ng higit sa 53,500 na katao. Ayon kay Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya, 3 gusali ang bahagyang gumuho sa 3 magkakahiwalay na lugar. Isinugod naman sa ospital ang nasa 190 na katao mula sa 6 na probinsya matapos ang lindol. Nananatiling nasa kritikal na lagay ang 43 sa mga ito. Naranasan din ang pagyanig ng lupa sa Syria ang iba pang mga probinsya nito.
Noong Martes, 147 ang namatay ng tumaob at sumabog ang isang fuel tanker sa hilagang estado ng Nigeria na Jigawa. Ito ay matapos mawala ng kontrol sa sasakyan ng driver na ikinatapon ng petrolyo. Si JC Yumol para sa report.
Ang aksidenteng ito ay ang pinakamalala nitong mga nakaraang taon sa pinakapopuladong bansa ng Afrika. Sa kasulukuyan, ang Nigeria ay humaharap sa malawakang banta sa seguridad at sa krisis pangkabuhayan. Ayon kay Haruna Mayriga, na pinuno ng Jigawa State Emergency Services, 147 ang namatay sa insidente. Ayon sa tagapagsalita ng lokal na kapulisan na si Lawan Shishu Adam, ang tanker na sumabog ay bumabiyahe mula sa bayan ng Kano papuntang Yobe State. Nawalan aniya ng kontrol ang driver sa tanker malapit sa bayan ng Taura na may 530 kilometers na layo sa kabisera ng Abuja. Tumaob ang tanker at tumapon ang gasolina mula rito bago tuluyang sumabog. JC Yumul para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Maswerte pong nakaligtas ang isang babae sa India matapos itong mabagsakan ng isang water tank. Kitang-kita po sa video na dahan-dahang naglalakad ang babae habang kumakain ito naman sana sa kalsada. Naku, aray ko po. Makalipas ng ilang sandali ay biglang may nahulog na water tank mula sa rooftop ng isang gusali. Dito na eksaktong lumusok na babae sa butas na bahagi ng water tank. May isang lalaki rin na nakakita sa insidente at kaagad na tumulong para pakawalan ang babae. Hindi po nagtamo ng kahit anong galo sa katawan ang babae. Iniimbestigahan naman ng mga otoridad kung bakit ba bumagsak ang water tank.
Sa Webes, inaabangan pa siya ng Appeals Court ng Toronto, Canada kung ang climate target nga ba ng probinsya ay sumasalansang sa karapatan ng kabataan. Ang inaabangan pa siya ay maaaring maka-impluwensya sa kawangis ng mga kaso sa ibang bansa. Si Kathleen Gao para sa mga detalye.
Ang kaso ay isinampa laban sa Ontario ng 7 tao na ngayon ay edad 16 at 28. Nilalabanan nila ang greenhouse gas emissions target ng probinsya at sinasabing kulang ito at sumasalansang sa karapatan ng kabataan sa buhay, kalayaan, seguridad at pagkapantay-pantay. Nakakaapit ang kaso sa katanungan ukol sa tungkulin ng pamahalaan sa batang henerasyon sa panahong umiinit ang planeta. Kasama rito ang kung kinikilala ba ng konstitusyon ng Canada ang tungkuling ito at kung ang emissions targets ba ay sapat na epektong praktikal sa mga individual.
So we're hoping to ideally set a precedent that would apply to all of Canada, all levels of government, that says that if you don't take adequate climate action, you are potentially, in fact, violating our rights, and that governments need to be bound to take adequate action.
Nakasentro ang kaso sa 2018 target na ipinisya ng right-leaning progressive conservatives ni Premier Doug Ford na bawasan ang emissions ng 30% below 2005 levels sa taong 2030. Hinihingi ng mga nagsampa ng kaso sa korte na utusan ang gobyerno na maglagay ng mas striktong target. Ito ang kauna-unahang Canadian human rights-based climate lawsuit na diringin base sa merits nito. May posibilidad itong pamarisan hindi lamang sa Canada kundi pati na sa ibang bansa bilang maaari itong banggitin sa mga kawangis na kaso. Samantala, sinabi ng Ontario na hindi nito sinasalansang ang konstitusyon ng Canada. At hindi rin anya para sa korte ang climate change plan nito. Ayon sa probinsya, ang target ay pahayag ng layunin ng gobyerno ay hindi eskema ng regulasyon. Sa kawangis na mga kaso tulad sa Alaska, Hawaii at Montana, gayon din sa Portugal, idinemanda ng mga kabataang kanilang mga gobyerno base sa reklamong
Ayon sa Walgreens, isasara nito sa susunod na 3 taon ang 1,200 itong mga pharmacy stores. Sa kabila ng adjustment na ginawa ng pharmacy giant sa kailang profit forecasts para sa third quarter ng taong ito ay bumaba pa rin po kasi ng 65% ang kanilang stocks sa trading market. Sinasabi ng mga business experts na nahihirapan ngayon ang mga pharmacy giants na magbenta ng kanilang mga produkto dahil iniiwasan ng mga mamimili ang pagbili ng mga gamot na sobrang mahal. Dahil dito, plano rin ng Walgreens na bawasan ang mga empleyado nito na nasa executive ranks.
Inakusahan ng SpaceX ang isang panel ng California regulator ng political discrimination. Ito ay matapos tanggihan ng panel ang kahilingan ng SpaceX na maglunsad o magpalipad ng karagdagang rockets nito sa Central Coast ng California. Ayon sa California regulator, concerned lamang sila sa kapaligiran kaya't hindi nila inaprubahan ang hiling ng SpaceX. Depensa naman ng kumpanya ni Elon Musk ay nilabag ng mga miyembro ng California Coastal Commission ang karapatan ni Musk sa malayang pagsasalita. Anila, isa sa mga dahilan kaya tinanggihan ng panel ang hiling ng SpaceX ay dahil sa mga social media posts ni Musk na tungkol sa eleksyon ngayon sa Estados Unidos.
Ayon sa mga media sources, tinatalakay ng Biden administration ang ilang mga panukala upang limitahan ang pag-e-export ng mga artificial intelligence or AI chips. Naniniwala ang ilang analysts na ang paghihigpit ng Washington sa pag-export ng AI chips ay may kinalaman sa economic war at national security issues sa pagitan ng Estados Unidos at ng China. Matatandaang restricted ang pagsusupply ng Nvidia at AMD ng advanced chips nito sa China at tanging approval na ginawa ng Washington ay pagbebenta ng Nvidia at AMD ng special versions ng kanilang chips para subalit reduced versions naman po ito. Hindi pa naglalabas ng komento ang Beijing ukol sa planong ito ng Washington.
Tinamaan ng outage ang Apple support kung saan apektado ang nasa 3,200 users mula sa Estados Unidos at Europa. Ayon sa mga ulat ng mga Apple users, apektado ang operasyon ng Apple App Store kung saan hindi ma-download ang ilang mga apps. Higit sa App Store, apektado rin ang Apple Pay, App Store Connect, Apple Care at iba pa. Batay sa report, bandang 11:31 a.m. nagsimula ang outage at agad naman na naresolba ito bandang 12:08 ng tanghali.
Mariing itinanggi ni France football captain Kylian Mbappé ang aligasyon na ito ay may ginahasa.
Chose dans le vide. Donc, si cette plainte, s'il est confirmé que cette plainte le visait, de près ou de loin, parce qu'après tout, il serait peut-être considéré comme étant témoin de faits dont quelqu'un d'autre serait l'auteur. À ce stade, j'en sais rien. Bon. Mais si c'était bien le cas, évidemment, nous sommes en train de préparer une plainte en dénonciation calomnieuse, puisque, encore une fois, lui n'a rien à se reprocher.
Iniimbestigahan kasi ng mga otoridad sa Sweden ang ulat na sangkot sa paggagahasa ang sikat na football player. Base sa mga ulat na inilabas ng mga pahayagan kagaya ng Aftonbladet and Expressen, pati na rin ang public broadcaster na SVT. Idinawit nila si Mbappé sa naturang insidente na nangyari sa isang hotel sa Central Stockholm noong Oktubre 10. Ikinagalit naman ng mga abogado ni Mbappé ang nasabing ulat at sinabing ito ay nakakasira ng imahe ng manlalaro. Sa social media account naman ng football star, tinawag na lamang nito ng fake news ang ulat. Ayon pa sa abogado ni Mbappé, ay inatasan ito na kasuhan ng libel ang mga Swedish media outlets. Handa rin anya nilang sagutin ang nasabing aligasyon kung mayroon mga lumapit sa korte.
Men det som händer nu, det är att det pågår förundersökning. Och jag kan konstatera att målsägande förhör, det vill säga förhör med offret, måste eller borde vara hållet vid det här laget tillsammans med ett målsägande beträde som är utsett av domstolen. Det som också sker nu, det är ju att åklagaren leder förundersökningen och man tar reda på vad finns det för stödbevisning. Och då pratar vi om muntlig bevis, det kan vara vittnen som målsäganden exempelvis har pratat med, och det kan också vara teknisk bevisning. Tekniska spår, tekniska fynd, DNA, träffar och så vidare.
Tumakbo papalabas ng stage ang pop star na si Nick Jonas matapos umanong itutok ng isang audience member ang laser pointer sa kanya. Sa isang video footage na kumakalat online, kumaripas ng takbo si Jonas palayo ng stage at tag-time out hand signal sa mga tao. Kinumpirma ng tagapagsalita ng O2 Arena na nagdulot ng pangamba sa kaligtasan ng singer ang paggamit ng concert goer ng ipinagbabawal na laser pointer. Kaagad na rumisponde ang organizer ng concert sa problema na ito ni Nick. At pagkatapos ng ilang minuto ay pinagpatuloy ng Jonas Brothers ang kanilang concert.
Labis pong kalungkutan ang nararamdaman ngayon ng music industry sa mundo. Ito ay matapos matagpo ang patay ang dating miyembro ng One Direction na si Liam Payne. Batay sa inisyal na investigasyon, nahulog umano ang British singer-songwriter mula sa ikatlong palapag ng isang hotel sa Buenos Aires. Idineklara siyang dead on the spot dahil sa tindi ng kanyang mga injuries. Iniimbestigahan ng mga otoridad sa Argentina kung aksidente o sinadyang pagkakahulog ng singer. Nasa Argentina si Liam para suportahan ang dating bandmate na si Niall Horan. Nakatakda rin sana na magkaroon ng reunion concert ang sikat na boy band sa nasabing show. Kumalat naman sa social media ang huling video na pinost ni Liam sa kanyang Snapchat account. Dito ay makikita na masaya ang singer habang kinakausap ang kanyang mga fans. Marami ang hindi makapaniwala sa trahedyang sinapit ng dating One Directioner. Ilan nga sa mga nagpaabot ng kanilang pakikiramay ang 90s boy band na Backstreet Boys, X-Factor singer Cher Lloyd, American rapper na si Quavo at Grammy Award winner Charlie Puth. Samantala, hindi pa naglalabas ng komento ang mga dating miyembro ng One Direction na sina Harry Styles, Horan, Zayn Malik at Louis Tomlinson ukol sa pagkamatay ni Liam. Sa New York, pinarangalan kamakailan ang mga namemelikula sa ika-14 na taon ng International Film Fest Manhattan. Sa sentro ng parangal ang mga maiikling pelikula at mga dokumentaryo. Mula sa Manhattan, narito ang report ni NET25 correspondent Joanne Soriano.
The International Film Festival Manhattan, now in its 14th year, kicks off 3 days of screenings at the Look Dine-In Cinemas here on West 57th Street in New York City.
The festival spotlights short films and documentaries by indie filmmakers.
In fact, this year, we only have indie filmmakers. A lot of them this is their first chance to be in a film festival, and it's international as well. So I'm very grateful of everybody who flew in.
The films had representatives from countries such as the Czech Republic, Australia, Italy, Portugal, the US, and the Philippines. Queen's Assembly member Stephen Raga has supported this festival for the past few years.
Every film that involves other cultures and heritages and stories, narratives from around the globe, we get to see it firsthand here.
The themes for this year's short films came from the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations.
We want to be significant and important also, not only showing entertainment, but we want to be a film festival that has a heart that actually shows that we care about our earth and our, fellow human beings.
The awards ceremony celebrated the accomplishments of every facet of filmmaking. For Kay Cunanan, who traveled from the Philippines for the festival and whose film Jiro won Best Student Film, it was an experience that she will never forget.
It's actually very exciting and very much the one thing we've been waiting for a long time. And we're grateful and happy, and we would cry.
MJ Ricadio received a Junior Lifetime Achievement Award for his work in public relations, marketing, and as a recording artist.
Well, I am honored and grateful, and of course I thank our Almighty God for giving me all the wisdom and knowledge, because without Him I can't do anything that I'm doing now.
Actor and mixed martial artist Roma Lebanon attended the film festival and looks forward to competing in the future.
Oh my God, it's so inspirational. I mean, you know, as a former athlete, I mean, it was all about winning and it's all about like a trophy. So I saw the trophies and I'm like, I'm looking forward to either being a winner as an actor or a filmmaker in the future.
The film festival will continue their programming November 14th through 20th online and will showcase different feature-length films.
Keep a close watch on these up-and-coming talents and filmmakers to see what they come up with next. Joanne Soriano, New York, from Atanang Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Kinilala po ngayon ang babae sa London na pinakabatang umakyat sa 14 na pinakamatataas na bundok sa buong mundo. Malaking tagumpay para sa 23 taong gulang na si Adriana Brownlee na maakyat ang Shisha Pangma sa Tibet noong October 9. Ibinahagi rin niya nga inabot sila ng ilang oras para marating ang pinakaitaas nito kung saan ay inabutan na sila ng pagsikat ng araw. Kabilang sa 14 na kanyang naakyat ay ang Everest, K2, Kangchechunga, Lhotse, Makalu, Cho Oyu, Dhaulagiri at Manaslu. Dagdag pa rito ang Nanga Parbat, Annapurna 1, Gajerbrum 1, Broad Peak, Gajerbrum 2 at ang huli nga ay ang Shisha Pangma. Samantala, sinabi ni Brownlee na bata pa lamang ay pangarap na niya na maging sikat na climber sa mga pinakamataas na bundok sa buong mundo.
Inilabas naman ng Italian luxury brand na Prada at Axiom Space ang bagong disenyo ng spacesuits na gagamitin sa NASA Artemis 3 mission sa buwan. Nakaplano na sa 2026 ay mailunsad ang Artemis 3 moon landing kasunod ng Apollo 17 noong 1972. Ipinakita ng new Axiom Extravehicular Mobility Unit na kayang pagsamahin ang highly engineered functionality at aesthetics para sa lunar condition ng spacesuit. Nakapaloob rito na dapat kayanin ng spacesuit ang matinding init ng temperatura at malamig na temperatura naman sa lunar South Pole. Dagdag pa rito ay kailangan ay komportable itong suotin para makagalaw ang mga astronaut ng hindi bababa sa 8 oras. Samantala, sinubukan na rin ng Axiom ang bagong spacesuit kung saan ay nasa huling bahagi na ito ng testing.
Isang sundalo ng Philippine Army ang kauna-unahang non-American na nakatanggap ng prestigious na Alexander R. Nininger Award for Valor at Arms mula po yan sa U.S. Military Academy. Sa isang seremonya sa New York, USA, pinarangalan si Major Floren Herrera dahil sa kanyang natatanging pamumuno sa 5 buwang Battle of Marawi noong 2017. Ang Alexander R. Nininger Award ay pinagkakaloob sa mga individual na nagpakita ng exemplar of heroic action in battle. Bago pa ang karangalang ito, nakatanggap na rin si Herrera ng Distinguished Conduct Star mula sa Pilipinas bilang pagkilala sa kanyang kabayanihan sa Marawi.
So ano, gusto mo sabihin yung update natin?
Salute po muna, of course, sa ating kababayan naman. Diba? At ito na update dahil may nag-aabangan nina.
Oo, diba sabi nga natin, bukas, ngayong gabi yun, mag-update tayo.
Oo, dahil kagabi pinag-usapan natin yung sphere na itatayo sa UAE. Napag-usapan tuloy natin, napadakot tayo nung kabataan natin. May planetarium tayo. Nina, meron pa bang planetarium hanggang ngayon?
Yun na nga. Tingin ko ngayon nagsara na siya nung mga ilang taon na nakalipas. Pero sa kabila niyan, meron pa rin naman pwedeng puntahan, di ba, Ricky?
Oo. Di ba? May bago ng planetarium, pero hindi na siya yung sphere. Nandito lang po yan sa may Diliman, Quezon City.
Diyan tayo sa Pag-asa Planetarium.
Yan, sa Pag-asa.
Pero
pwede na. Pag gusto niyo makakita ng mga kalangitan, ganyan, na feels niya ay dome pa rin at sphere.
Tsaka magandang ayan, nagkakabulol-bulol ako. Excited ako.
Excited kasi
bukas
tayo.
na bukas. Naman. Marami kang magandang karanasang mapupulot doon, matututunan, di ba?
Oo, ayan. Naku, bukas may update pa yata si Direk Mads.
Pupunta kasi siya.
Mamaya pupunta naman siya bukas ng umaga.
Pipila na siya doon.
Ayan po, so ayan ang update namin. Ano sa tingin nyo? Kailangan ba tayo magkaroon ng isa pang panibagong planetarium? Ano po sa palagay ninyo? Pero habang hinihintay namin ang inyong mga kasagutan, tandaan na narito po kami para maghatid ng balita saan mang dako ng mundo. Muli ako po si Ricky Matay.
Ako si Nina Richie Alagaw Flores. Ito ang Mata ng Agila International. Para sa mga balitang nangyari sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo, punta naman tayo kay Alma Angeles para sa Mata ng Agila World News. Take it away, Alma.
Thank you, Nina Enrique. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alma Angeles for NET25 World News. On tonight's headlines. Here's a look at battleground Pennsylvania, where Vice President Kamala Harris has launched a new effort to attract Republican supporters.
So I am joined today by over 100 Republican leaders from across Pennsylvania and across our country who are supporting my candidacy for President of the United States.
North Korea has officially labeled South Korea a hostile state in a new constitutional revision, marking a significant shift in its stance toward its southern neighbor. A recent report from an independent human rights agency reveals that over 300 million children are subjected to online sexual abuse and exploitation annually.
The other point that it's important that you have also more and more predator and sexual offenders who are connected. So the issue is really big. It's why.
And the news starts now. And now to the race to the White House. Here's a look at battleground Pennsylvania, where Vice President Kamala Harris has launched a new effort to attract Republican supporters.
And now, the baton is in our hands. So I am joined today by over 100 Republican leaders from across Pennsylvania and across our country who are supporting my candidacy for President of the United States.
At a rally attended by over 100 Republican leaders, including current and former officials, Vice President Harris criticized former President Donald Trump. She reacted to his claim that he would target the enemy within by using military if he returned to office.
He considers any American who doesn't support him or bend to his will to be an enemy to our country. And further, he says that as Commander-in-Chief, he would use our military to go after them. It is clear Donald Trump is increasingly unstable and unhinged. And I pledge to you to be a president for all Americans. And I take that pledge seriously.
Meanwhile, Harris also faced intense questioning during a television interview regarding the Biden administration's strategies to address the rising issue of illegal immigration at the southern border. She placed responsibility on Republicans for not passing a border bill. In a heated discussion with Fox News host Brett Meyer, Harris was challenged to justify the administration's initial decision to reverse several of former President Trump's strict immigration policies.
My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes into office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride in saying that this is a perfect immigration system. I've been clear, I think we all are, that it needs to be fixed. And Donald Trump, but let me just finish.
Six
and
Democrats
Donald
voted
Trump
against that bill.
Learned about that bill and told them to kill it because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
She also responded to a mother who testified before Congress about her child's tragic death at the hands of an undocumented immigrant.
I believe the Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
That's the early days. So do you owe them an apology is what I'm saying.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I am so sorry for her loss, sincerely. But let's talk about what is happening right now. I do not believe in decriminalizing border crossings, and I've not done that as vice president. I will not do that as president. The first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021.
Exactly.
It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the... Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please? But you have to let me finish,
You
please.
had the White House and the House and the Senate, and they didn't bring up that bill.
I'm in the middle of responding to the point you're raising, and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
We recognized from day one that to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority, because I do believe the American people are ready to turn the page on the divisiveness and the type of rhetoric that has come out of Donald Trump. People are ready to chart a new way forward.
Meanwhile, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump stood by controversial claims during a town hall with Latino voters. He doubled down on a debunked story that immigrants in Ohio were eating pets, saying he was simply repeating what had been reported.
This was just reported. I was just saying what was reported. That's been reported, and eating other things too that they're not supposed to be. But this is all I do is report. I have not. I was there. I'm going to be there, and we're going to take a look. And I'll give you a full report when I do. But that's been in the newspapers and reported pretty broadly.
Trump also claimed that jobs in the African American and Hispanic communities were being taken by immigrants.
A lot of the jobs that you have and that other people have are being taken by these people that are coming in. And the African American population and the Hispanic population in particular are losing jobs now because millions of people are coming in. So they're coming in, but they're also coming in largely, and tremendous numbers coming in out of mental institutions. They're emptying out mental institutions. They're emptying out.
Shifting topics, Trump touched on climate change, downplaying global warming concerns, and instead pointing to the threat of nuclear war as the real danger.
The real global warming that we have to worry about is nuclear. The water's coming up 1/8 of an inch over 300 years. The ocean is going to rise, and nobody knows if that's true or not, but they're worried about the ocean rising 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch in 300 years. The people that don't support a very small portion. We have a tremendous, about 97% of the people in the administration support me. But because it's me, somebody doesn't support, they get a little publicity. The vice president, I disagree with him on what he did. I totally disagreed with him on what he did.
Meanwhile, fans around the world are in shock tonight as tragic news emerges about former One Direction singer Liam Payne. What happened in Buenos Aires has left many with questions, and authorities are now working to piece together the details.
Former One Direction singer Liam Payne was found dead outside a hotel in Buenos Aires on Wednesday. Argentine police said the 31-year-old fell from the balcony of his third-floor room where he was staying. Distraught fans gathered outside the hotel Wednesday night. In a statement, police said they were called to the hotel in the capital's Palermo neighborhood, where they were notified of a, quote, aggressive man who could be under the effects of drugs and alcohol. The hotel manager said he heard a loud noise at the back of the hotel. When police arrived, they found that a man had fallen over the balcony in his room. Emergency workers confirmed the death of the British singer, who was reportedly found in the hotel's interior patio. In this video, authorities can be seen removing Payne's body from the hotel. Earlier on Wednesday, Payne had appeared to post on Snapchat what are presumed to be the last videos of him alive.
Morning, everybody. Today, we ride. We're going to ride some horses.
The 4U singer rose to global fame as part of the since-disbanded pop band One Direction. The group broke up in 2016 as its members pursued different projects, including solo careers. Payne had, on October 2nd, attended the Buenos Aires concert of his former bandmate Niall Horan. The musician has previously spoken publicly about his struggles with mental health and using alcohol to cope with the pressures of fame. In a video posted to his YouTube channel last year, he spoke about having given up alcohol and thanked supporters for sticking with him through difficult times. Neither Payne's record label Republic Records nor its owner Universal Music Group could immediately be reached for comment.
North Korea has officially labeled South Korea a hostile state in a new constitutional revision, marking a significant shift in its stance toward its southern neighbor. The state-run KCNA news agency reported the change on Thursday following a proposal by Kim Jong-un earlier this year. Now, this announcement came after North Korea detonated symbolic roads and railways connecting the two countries, a move KCNA described as inevitable and legitimate, aligning with the revised constitution. The destruction reportedly aims to physically separate the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or DPRK, from the Republic of Korea, further solidifying the North's hostile stance.
북한이 적대적 도개국가로 나아갔던 핵심적인 전략적 목표는 김정은식 생존 전략이 아닌가 생각됩니다. 다시 말해서 김정은 위원장은 남북한이 서로 의식하지 않고 담을 쌓아가지고 각자 도생, 각자 서로 사는 길로 가자. 적대적 도개국가라고 한다면은 남북 간에 체제 경쟁을 하지 않아도 되고 또 이 장벽을 싸움을 해가지고 북한 주민들만 잘 통제하면 되고.
Adding to the heightened tensions, North Korea state broadcaster KRT aired footage showing students signing up to enlist in the military. According to North Korean state media, around 1.4 million young people have applied to join or return to the army this week, with Pyongyang blaming Seoul for a provocative drone incursion that it claims has brought the tense situation to the brink of war. Unverified images released by KCNA also depict the demolition of roads and railways through international journalists, though international journalists were not granted access to witness this event. Experts suggest Kim Jong-un may be using the constitutional revision to pave the way for more aggressive measures, including potentially legalizing the use of nuclear weapons against the South. Others believe this is an effort to shield North Korea from South Korean cultural influence and tighten the regime's grip on power. In response, South Korea remains committed to reunification, but has vowed to respond to any provocations with force.
Meanwhile, the United States, South Korea, and Japan announced the launch of a new multinational team to monitor the enforcement of sanctions against North Korea after Russia and China thwarted monitoring activities at the United Nations.
In light of the veto which disbanded the UN Security Council's 1718 committee panel of experts this year, we hereby express our intention to establish the Multilateral Sanctions Monitoring Team, MSMT, a multilateral mechanism to monitor and report violations and evasions of the sanctions measures stipulated in the relevant UNSCRs.
The mechanism, named the Multilateral Sanctions Monitoring Team, has been introduced after Russia in March rejected the annual renewal of a UN panel of experts that had over the past 15 years overseen the implementation of sanctions aimed at curbing North Korea's nuclear and missile programs. China abstained from the vote. The team is meant to continue the UN panel's work, including issuing regular reports on sanctions enforcement, and will involve the participation of 8 other countries, including Britain, France, and Germany, according to a South Korean official.
The goal of the new mechanism is to assist the full implementation of UN sanctions on the DPRK by publishing information based on rigorous inquiry into sanctions violations and evasions attempts.
The potential for this to be a major effort in tracking and holding to account steps that North Korea is taking across a range of provocative actions is real, and we look forward to it taking shape in the months and years ahead.
本日、日韓米をはじめとした同志国の間で多国間制裁監視チーム MSMT を立ち上げることができたことは、専門家パネルの消滅において空いた穴を埋めると同時に関連する安保理決議の完全な履行への向けた意義のある一歩であります。
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has unveiled a bold victory plan to end Russia's invasion. This 5-point strategy aims to strengthen Ukraine's position and bring the conflict to a close by 2025 at the latest.
The victory plan is a bridge to a successful second peace summit. You can help make this a reality. And this will protect not only Ukraine, but also Baltic states and Nordics and Poland, Balkans, other regions, other partners which are in Russian sides. We propose placing on Ukrainian land a deterrence package that would either force Russia to participate in real peace negotiations or allow for the destruction of their military targets. It's the peace through threats approach for this point. It is about the appropriate missile package. Putin just must see that his geopolitical calculations are worthless, and an invitation now with membership later will have no political cost. It's a strong decision that requires nothing but determination. If we start now and follow the victory plan, we can end this war no later than next year. Dear friends, I presented the victory plan to our Parliament, our people, and I have their support. And I think it's so important to have unity in our country. The goal of the plan is that it strengthens not only Ukraine, but also our entire community. Your unity is also a weapon, and it's a weapon that means one thing for all of us: safety. Together we have saved thousands of Ukrainian lives and proven that war in Europe will not benefit the aggressor. Ukraine is ready for real diplomacy, but for it we must be strong. Thank you.
A recent report from an independent human rights agency reveals that over 300 million children are subjected to online sexual abuse and exploitation annually.
The number of 300 million, of children victims of sexual exploitation online is not reflecting the truth, because the problem is also reporting, and we have not all the data. Why we arrive at this stage? Because you have more and more children connected, and more children, more and more younger children are connected. The other point that it's important that you have also more and more predator and sexual offenders who are connected. So the issue is really big. It's why really we were pushing within the Global Digital Compact, and I just came back also from the Global Cyber Security Forum to make sure that child protection online is duly embedded. So the problem currently is there is no country is immune, no child is immune. in all countries we are finding, many forms of violence. And just to note one thing, you can have the same child who is victims of various forms online in various settings, and it could be online and offline, starting online, continuing offline, and coming back to online. So it's not an easy task currently. The problem is you have wonderful example here, regarding preventing. You have another wonderful thing regarding responding. You have wonderful legislation, wonderful policies. The problem is the lack of implementation of all these if we have not to make it sure that it's at the high level of the political agenda and to make sure that it's embedded in the national development plan and the localized plan is not going to work. This is really very important.
And let's now turn to Mexico, where rising violence is making or holding public office increasingly perilous. Just days after the gruesome beheading of Chilpancingo's mayor, another mayor has been killed, and this time stabbed to death in Oaxaca. Political assassinations, brutal cartel violence, and widespread bloodshed continue to plague the nation, posing a major challenge for Mexico's first female president, Claudia Sheinbaum. Here's the report.
Mexico is still reeling from the assassination of Chilpancingo Mayor Alejandro Aros. Outraged citizens have taken to the streets, demanding justice and calling his murder cowardly and brutal. Their questions are haunting. When will the violence cease? How long will innocent lives fall victims to ruthless gangs? And when will the control of these criminal organizations over their communities finally end?
En Chilpancingo y en todo el estado, realmente la situación es crítica. Tal vez el resto del país no lo sabe. Y yo invito a Harfuch para que venga, a Claudia para que venga, y no nada más tras escritorio saquen verdades de la manga.
These frustrations mirror the collective grief and anger. The shock deepened with another killing just 10 days later. Candelaria, Loxa Chica's mayor, Roman Ruiz Bohorquez, was also murdered, and authorities described the incident as an interpersonal conflict. But despite efforts to save him, Ruiz succumbed to his injuries. Now, 4 other mayors, fearing for their lives, have pleaded protection from federal authorities. But the violence extends beyond political figures. Recently, 5 bodies were discovered in black bags on a road in Jalisco, with their heads separately stashed, an act likely committed by the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. This same group is responsible for mass-producing fentanyl, often disguised as common painkillers, which has led to a devastating overdose crisis in the U.S. The violence is no anomaly. Since the military crackdown on cartels in 2006, more than 450,000 people have lost their lives in Mexico. The chaos has spilled over from the drug trade into the political arena, where criminal groups have infiltrated local governments using violence, bribery, and intimidation to cement their power. In the June election that brought Claudia Sheinbaum to the presidency, 37 political candidates were assassinated, some in broad daylight, others simply vanished without a trace. Despite being elected in one of Mexico's bloodiest elections, Sheinbaum remains committed to curbing the violence by expanding social programs and continuing her predecessor's hugs, not bullets strategy.
What are we going to use? Prevention, attention to causes, intelligence, and presence.
Yet, as the violence spirals, one question persists. Can Mexico's leadership halt a war that has spiraled far beyond the drug trade?
And the news continues here on NET25 World News. We'll be right back. Sydney's sun-soaked paradise turned perilous as a sinister invasion of black, potentially toxic spheres or balls forced the closure of its world-famous beaches.
It is still under active investigation. We have sent off for preliminary testing. What we've received is it involves some form of hydrocarbon, but there'll be more to say from the New South Wales EPA as it relates to that. What I will say is that we'll be working very hard to have this situation resolved as quickly as possible and to have our beaches cleaned. It's a beautiful, lovely spring day, and obviously we want to get back as soon as possible onto the sand and in the water.
In a groundbreaking move blending human expertise with cutting-edge technology, Antavo, a global leader in AI-powered loyalty platforms, has transformed one of its veteran employees into a digital doppelganger. Imagine having a seasoned loyalty expert at your fingertips, fluent in 80 languages and available 24/7. Take a look.
Hi, I am Timmy AI. Timmy Garay's been turned into an AI avatar by the company she works for. I possess the knowledge that Antavo as a company has learned over the past 10 years. I'll be available 24/7. The firm runs an AI-powered loyalty platform used by global brands. Garay works as a senior business analyst there, and the hope is the AI version will free up the real Garay.
It can be really tiring for me to have a meeting in Asia at early morning, maybe 4 or 5 a.m. sometimes, and then in the late evening with the US. And now we have someone who can replace me at least some part of the process, how we are working with our customers, and can take over this burden from me, and this is my job basically.
Timmy AI's ChatGPT-style large language models were built on Garay's knowledge and experience. The company says Garay was the obvious choice because she could always answer questions from clients and colleagues. Available in 80 languages, they hope the AI assistant will improve the experience for their corporate clients. Antavo's co-founder and chief strategy officer, Zuchar Kechmar.
It can access databases through services. It can not only give information, but do actions. It can advise. It has memory. So usually don't have that. And Team AI has all of these and the knowledge of loyalty programs of the world. This is for the marketeer, the loyalty program manager. Like they get a colleague, one extra colleague to help them.
Garay said for her, the benefits of Timmy AI outweighed initial concerns about the avatar taking over some of her roles in the workplace.
Of course, there are some limitations because we're still training Timmy AI. But actually, I'm really proud of that it has my face and voice, and I didn't have any concern regarding to this from the very beginning because I'm used to being the commercial face or voice of something.
And in a striking fusion of ancient art and modern technology, artificial intelligence is now stepping onto the stage to preserve Japan's centuries-old Noh theater tradition.
Practicing movements from Japan's classical Noh theater with guidance on hand from AI. This Fujitsu technology is capturing their movements by camera, analyzing it, and comparing it to a model performance. It even gives prompt feedback. Takashi Ishikawa, a high school teacher, visited the Fujitsu booth at a trade show near Tokyo.
Because my actual movements were shown as a frame, it was more easy for me to grasp factors visually, such as my elbow and axis positioning, than being told in words. In addition, it was analyzed in a short time, so it made me want to practice more.
Noh theater dates back to the 14th century. It involves stylized movements made by actors in masks and elaborate costumes. Hidenori Fujiwara, head of the Human Digital Twin Division at Fujitsu, said Japan's shrinking population has put traditional culture at risk, but the technology could help.
Through the camera footage, our artificial intelligence analyzes body frame so that we can capture the movements from different angles of joints. We then create a human CG model from this analysis. which learners can take as their example. That is our solution.
The startup Lilium has failed to receive 50 million euros in funding from the German government for their electric air taxi.
The vision is we want to decarbonize aviation, and the product behind me is just a start. It's a very good start, and it will be needed also to finance the further developments. But on the long term, we want to build aircraft up to 100 passengers flying up to 2,000 kilometers, fully powered by battery electric flying, which is the most economical way to fly decarbonized.
The company's electrically operated airplane is currently capable of carrying up to 6 passengers for 175 kilometers. Lilium CEO Klaus Rowe called it a good start, but said additional financing would be needed for further development.
It's very important because when you look at what I said before, 2,000 kilometers with 100 passengers, this accounts for about 80% of all flights today and about 50% of all passenger kilometers flown today. And if you imagine you can substitute carbonized flying with kerosene completely by battery electric flying, it's a significant step to decarbonize aviation.
With this hope of funds dashed, Rowe now hopes to find support outside Germany.
And with that, we end tonight's broadcast. For everyone here on NET25, I'm Alma Angeles. Thank you all for joining us. Good night.